Well, I want to talk back again now to the individual executive. I want to mine Joe Liberatore's mind. I think the answer you're about to give to this question, everyone that's ever worked with and for you, your current executive team would say, yeah, that's exactly what Joe holds us to. So my question is, what do you look for in your executives? You got a current executive team right now. I'm sure there are varying talent and skill levels. People are blessed with certain things that others aren't. But what do you look for to say this guy is checking my boxes, what I consider an effective executive as an individual executive in charge of his domain and as a team player? To your earlier point, the ability to work and collaborate well with other people on, yeah, at his level and below. Any thoughts?
Yeah. One, I only have one vantage point, and what I've learned through my career is some people are really good about working up, and you can kind of start to get a false perspective of how somebody is working with the rest of the team, and it's painful whenever you discover those things too far down the road, and they can't be addressed and coached through, right, to save that individual, because sometimes people learn, right? They learn from others they've worked for, and sometimes bad habits have to be broken to really make them as effective as possible, which is why I'm a big proponent on 360 type the 360 interview type process, but not as much like the check the box where somebody has a bunch of questions and it's rate this
Yeah,
person 1 to 5. What
yeah,
we've been doing more recently is actually we do personal interviews. So you establish whatever it is, this body of 5 or 10 people that are going to be involved with that, and they are actually interviewed, because the feedback that then comes to that executive is so much more powerful on building out their action plan and their development plan, and spotlighting where some of their gaps or their weaknesses. So I am a real big proponent on getting that feedback from the people that people have to work with day in and day out, because that gives you all of the information you need to now put together a good development plan, right? And an aspirational plan for that individual.
yeah, yeah. I love that. I agree with that entirely. And further on the team level, going back to this, the best teams and all of that. Um, what do you look for, if not demand, Joe, from your executive team in the sense that, again, let's just say you got all A players, you got all A rods, franchise players. What level do you expect and demand of them when it comes to respect for each other, the ability to what I call argue well? And as you know, when I was there with K Force, we had some spirited debates in that executive team. I think people, it would have shocked people that a relatively lower ranking executive could go at Dave Dunkel and say, Dave, I don't think, and we'd argue. It never got personal. It often got spirited.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Dave Dunkel or Bill Sanders would slap the table. Boom. Okay. I heard everybody. We're taking option B. And when we left that room, and we used to have lunch afterwards, everybody left that room smiling, and option B it was. And to your earlier point, I don't think we had any leaders going out to the team saying, you're not going to believe what Dunkel wants to do. It's not my idea, fellas, but you got to do it. I think we went out there and said, it's option B, and it's a great idea. It's going to work. And here's what we're going to do. Here's our part, and all of that. So, again, I'm blathering on here. So, respect for each other, the ability to argue well in pursuit of the best options for the company, not necessarily what your department wants to do or is easier for it to do, and then just the ability to unite on specific initiatives, some of which may not seem popular or even make sense at the time. Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, Mike, you remember this, when I was given the responsibility of succeeding Bill in the president role, what was one of the first things that I worked on with the team? It was putting together a leader's creed. And the last line of that leader's creed was firm first, right? All of my actions will
Yeah.
place the firm first, because that's kind of what you're talking about there. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, there's forums where it's healthy to have those debates, where you do want the best thinking from everybody. You want those diverse thoughts of experiences that people have dealt with in the past, because that's kind of like you're making the soup, you know, and everything's going in there. But at the end of the day, decisions have to be made. And sometimes, you know, I've been in spots where it's been 100% of what I thought we should do. There's other times when it's been 5% of what I thought we should do. But at the end of the day, when that table was slapped and we went out and we had to execute the play, I was 100% on board. You know, you got to leave that behind. So you are so spot on. And again, I think that's one of the dynamics that you see with effective versus ineffective executive leadership teams, are people truly doing that and getting behind whatever decisions have been made, irrespective of where their view was in the past. At that point in time, this is what's been decided and is in the best interest of the firm. At some point, right, it's that whole collaborative leadership style, which I believe I'm a collaborative leader. I like getting people's inputs and thoughts and ideas and them to be part of the solution. But at the end of the day, when decisions made, sometimes there's varying percentages that people agree or disagree, but now you got to move forward, right? It's the old adage of, it's really easy to be a leader and come up with the right idea and try and direct it through the firm and force it through the firm, but you very seldom get adoption. It takes forever to get the adoption. You spent your whole time fighting that battle versus spending the time on the front end to get those thoughts and ideas and then get to whatever decision you need to make around any given type of priority.